Hey, welcome to another edition of Mzansi Podcast. It's been a hard week, but let's start on some good news, man. People won. You heard me talk about Ben Sherman and people won. Samuel Poshoko. Hey, that man won something, man. He went shopping and now he's fetching stuff. Talking about shopping, Yanga cannot go shopping.
Because they can't pay, they have credit.
Funny enough, they need to do shopping because they don't have a coach. So now they need to do shopping. They get rid of the coach. I mean, the coach is number 2 in the league.
By a point.
1 point behind Simba.
10 games.
10 games only.
FM, I just don't
What's
agree
happening?
with what happened. I think they pulled the trigger too soon. Cox,
The way you
10 games in.
The way you don't agree with Yanga today, you even had to wear a red cap.
No, it's representing Simba because they're on top of the log.
Yeah, so
please send your audition tape so we can have new members on the podcast. These ones are going. These ones are leaving. But looking at that, you're saying Gamondi, yes, he's lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
But he's only a point behind. And there's 10 games. Meaning there's still enough ample time and ample. I mean, nobody wins the league after 10 games.
The league hasn't started.
yeah. So I mean, I was saying the other day that you can't win the league in 10 games, but you can lose it in 10 games.
Yeah.
And he's there with the pace.
Within a point.
Yeah, so he's there. But that's the problem now. I think there were problems. It looks like they pulled the trigger soon. It's either there were problems that have been lurking in the background and we didn't know about it, but also we must be wary of this thing of winning. Winning is a drug that you know, once you get used to it, you get entitled. So they get to a point where they're entitled, they're not supposed to lose. So that means other teams will just come and visit them and they'll win and that's it. So these streaks, they're building these winning streaks, not losing, you know.
I think they must check that Azam complex because it's not the home stadium of Young. Mara, Lufuno, looking at that.
Yeah.
Now, on the field, we're still on the field. You've now lost 2 games in a row. You've now dismissed the coach. Let's start with the domestic league. Does that then open the door for Fadlu and Wayne Sunderland and Simba?
Let's look at Simba as an institution. They've once dominated that league. They're in a regrouping phase. They want to come back and fight Yanga. Hence, they've recruited Fadlu, who was undefeated with the coach Zimbabwe in Morocco. He knows how
we
to
must
win.
talk about that Morocco. Why is there racist things happening? But we'll come to that.
He knows how to win. So he will make it very difficult for Yanga. It's on top of the league, meaning that Yanga now needs to chase. Are they used to chasing? Or they are a team that teams always chase them?
And just to add on to that, Simba, they've done business. And yes, they lost to Yanga in the early stages. But the thing about progress
And
is
it was
that
tight.
it was tight.
Very tight.
It's progress and you don't see it. And they've gone shopping in advance. They've gone shopping. They bought Augustine. Orlando Pirates went there and they wanted Augustine. And they said, actually, this guy belongs to Simba. Long time. Relax yourself. So they've gone shopping. They've pre-bought. So that means that there's a project that Simba's working on. Yanga, with what's happening right now, they might find themselves in big problems. They have to bring in a coach. You look at the timing also. Yeah. The time that
very
we have right now.
critical.
It's very critical.
Man. So the ban, does it mean that coaches can't come as well? Because
No, the coach is
Get a coach.
No, the coach is
but the thing is the timing. We are just now entering the
The busiest period.
The group stage of the Champions League. You now find a new coach that comes in, has his own philosophy, his own ideas, completely
And new
different.
players are...
No, he can come and change the whole team and play his own way. And there's no guarantee that he's going to win. Are they going to pull a trigger again on that coach? If he comes now and lose 2-3 games,
Who's this coach? That you keep on. Well, it seems like you know who this coach is.
Well, people are talking, in the corners that there's a coach that have left a team in Mpumalanga,
in South Africa. Yeah.
And when you listen, they said he has already have a team. We know he was on the flight and he turned closer to Morocco. So he's a coach that wants to coach in the Champions League. Yanga don't have a coach. It looks like the combination of South Africa and Yanga. It's very.
So it's either they come this way or...
Yeah.
But having said that, what's happening with Yanga in FIFA is very concerning.
Yeah.
Because there's a trend that's starting to happen. It's like almost every transfer window before it starts, every season we must talk about Yanga not paying a player.
It's not even starting to happen. It's been happening, this thing. You track all the way back and you go to Luke ML. And you say, Luke ML also had something with Yanga where there was no payment and FIFA had to be involved. Why do you have to include the mother body in your affairs? The minute that you have to include the mother bodies in your affairs every single time, it means that you need to be monitored. And you can't be monitored as somebody that leads an organization such as a CAF, person that's involved in CAF. You have to lead by example.
And I think with that, I mean, the president of Yanga, he's sitting where he's the president of our African Club Association. Yeah. And with what he's looking to do, when you listen to the president speak, you listen to the plans that they have, where they want to take African football. And you also listen to the plans that he has for Yanga. And then this thing that comes that says, but your house is not in order. It's never a good thing.
Always.
You need to get your house in order, administratively so that you can be able to execute your plans. Now you have to go 2-3 steps back because you cannot do certain things because FIFA says no. I mean, as you said, he's leading CAF. He must lead by example.
Correct.
He must be an exemplary to say, as an administrator, these are the things where people have seen to say he can be able to lead an association. Now, charity begins at home. Let Yanga get their house in order, administratively wise, and then you will start seeing them progressing at a fast speed.
But that progress, Cox, comes, it's very risky because the new coach comes, whoever he is, he must learn the players and then impose his own system.
In the middle of a season.
In the middle of a season, in the middle of just at the beginning of group stages. Can never be a good thing.
It can't. It can never be a good thing. And you look at the group.
Both CAF and locally.
You look at the group that they find themselves in CAF. It's
a tough group.
It's a very tough group. And if they say they want to do better than they did last season, is it going to be easy?
Nobody's going to give you
is the coach just going to come in? Is the coach that they want to employ, is that coach going to have pedigree for Champions League? Because for you to take a team to a certain level from where they were last season, you have to have some sort of pedigree. Does it have pedigree? The coach is mentioning.
Domestically, Simba must be salivating and going, this is a beautiful thing.
Simba is celebrating because they know that they've got one up on Yanga.
Noah is probably celebrating. SC is celebrating and saying
they've got one up on Yanga. What they can only do is to accelerate and put more pressure to Yanga because Yanga now must chase. Are they used to chasing or they used to be? Are they the hunter or they're being hunted? Because as a team, as Cox said, if you are used to winning, you even forget how to hunt because you've always been hunted. It's a very dangerous thing.
No, man, I hear you talking of winners, man. There's another winner that we've got, man. Hey, man. No Lutando, Chag. No Lutando won, Cox. We were not talking about winners and then we thought, no. No Lutando won, went shopping, shopped the Storm, well done.
No ban.
No ban when shopping.
No credit.
There is a concern that I have in Morocco, way that are going through in fact, let's be specific. Coach Rulani is being racially abused And there seems to be some bias from a refereeing perspective.
And before we start on that racial abuse, let's also start on the ban as well. Remember, they also have their problems. And Rulani, when he got there, the president reassured him that this matter will be taken care of, everything will be fine, your project, but now you bring all these hurdles. So you're making false promises. So that starts on an entity. But there's a problem. There's a huge problem in North Africa. And we need to address that. It's not something that starts now. This thing of racial abuse, racial incidences, they've long been happening in North Africa. You take it all the way you go to 2009, there was a game in Egypt versus Algeria. You go to 2013, there's Morocco, Mali. You go, there's Tunisia.
Even the finals of the Confed.
100%. Even Morocco and Ghana. So it's not only a Morocco issue. It's not a Moroccan issue. It's an issue with North Africa. Yeah, it's a regional issue because Egypt is involved, Tunisia is involved, Morocco is involved. So this is something that we really need to root out. And that's the thing, when you give people a slap in the wrist, that's it. They'll say, oh, next time we get another slap in the wrist, so let's do it. Let's carry on doing this thing. We really need to root it out because we've seen banners and all this stuff.
I think the next project for CAF president, he has sorted out commercially and otherwise. One of the biggest things that needs to be sorted from the CAF house is this issue. They have to deal with this issue decisively and get rid of it out completely.
Look, I'll reference what happened in Europe. You had a Muslim player who, when there was a Pride Month, did not want to go with a rainbow because it's a symbol of pride. The player was fined. Big money. Now, when it's racial issues, we always say, we will put another swastika that says no race. Why is it that we can't be as decisive as when it's the other stuff?
We have to be. There's no other way. We have to be decisive. We have to be unapologetic in dealing with racial issues, because this thing of, as if we're working on eggshell, as if we deal with it as it's an isolated incident. It's not the case. It will never be an isolated incident. We have to really go at it and root it out.
When Coach Pitso was at Sundowns, he really came out very strong against it. And he was fighting. Yeah. He was fuming. And he made himself heard. And he was not apologetic about it. And he was and that's what made Sundowns to have a breakthrough, because they couldn't do that to Sundowns anymore. Because he was really vocal about it and he spoke out about it. Even before the game, he started to speak about before the game. So they cannot even do it because he already called them out. So we need to talk about it. If you were to go and get a coach like Rulani and you don't give him protection that he deserves, for me, that is not right.
But he shouldn't be protected against racism in your own continent.
Call it out. You from the team, start from you as a team. Call it out. To say, we brought the best coach. We want to revive this team that is withered, that has been struggling on its own. We need to rebuild this brand again to be where it is. So from leadership point of view of that particular team, they need to call it out. For a coach now to start mentally, to start fighting racism, and now has to come and apply himself on the field to get results.
You've got other issues that you have to deal with.
It's going to be very difficult for him.
No, man, calling out things. What's happening there by Safa?
Hey, there's issues.
Money is missing. Money. Where's this man?
So
the president of Safa went to visit Pamrich Court?
Yes. He went, it's not a visit. But
he was invited. He was invited.
So arrested. But you also look at the trend of it and say, it took 10 years for this, to get to where it is. You then ask yourself, is it a witch hunt? Or because things just keep on cropping up, especially when it's election season. But also, if he's done something wrong, then he should face the might of the law. The initial amount was 1.3 million rands, but it looks like there's more that's just coming out. When you listen to the case, there's more that's coming out. So administratively, it was the funny thing when he had to declare how much he spends.
For a man that does not get paid a lot of money, or get paid at all, because
it's a volunteer.
It's honorariums that have been paid.
Correct.
But Lufuno, it can never be good for South African football, because South African football is the one that said, we believe that our guy, being Dr. Patrice Motsepe, should be president, and you're making recommendations, but your house is not denied.
Yeah, it cannot be good for any association where a leader of that association is going through court cases and all that. It's not good at all. It brings some dark cloud in your association. And that goes, if you look at it, it goes down to administration. This money was pushed around, it's administration issue, you know. As Cox said, however, you cannot also rule out that every time when we have elections, you start to see these things coming up and saying that so and so, you know, it's a dirty game. It's a political game as well. But my issue is that if you want to prove yourself innocent, let them charge you. They must then put the evidence on the table.
Ideally, I would not like to have anybody that goes, they just manage it properly, because I believe this. Seeing Dr. Denny Jordan in that stand tarnishes his image. This is the man that brought the World Cup to Africa.
Yeah.
Along with Dr. Koza. You are now sitting here.
And we also take it for granted the timing thereof, because right now you have a national team that's doing well. You have players, it seems like they have things in order.
Can he travel? Because they take passports.
Yeah, apparently he can travel. The court has allowed him to do his work. But if there's a court date on the day, he cannot travel. He needs to be attending the court day. If anything that he has to do, it has to clash the same date, he needs to be at court.
Yeah, so December he must be back.
But now, Kef is going to have to he's looking at this with a very interesting eye. Because Kef has got to say, we are good at what we do. We have done well. Administratively, you've got big clubs, young Africans, not doing well. We've been summoned by FIFA. You've got South African president, summoned by the courts. Not good.
Not at all.
But we need to do better as Africans, man. Go and enjoy International Week. Please find a coach that young, so that Simba now putting pressure. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe. And you never know. Remember that 10,000 that we were talking about that people can go shop for. Next week we'll be having a winner. Thank you for watching. Yanga, do better. Do better.
I saw a cherry and it was red.